MiHoYo is afraid of Wuthering Waves. Absolutely giga nuclear catastrophic omega drama. Holy shit.
Greetings,
It's
Rover.
not XQC level clickbait. There's no red emojis. There's no red button emojis.
Taking a break. Greetings, Rovers. Taking a break from our regularly scheduled programming of posting a video a day in May for Wuthering Waves release, today I received a screenshot on my Twitter from an unknown account. If this is true and undoctored information, this drama absolutely surpasses nuclear. We're talking full-blown giga-thermo-cat...
Did she just put a Stelron in him? I think I've seen this before. What the fuck? Wait. What the? Yeah, you played it? I forgot this happened.
Catastrophic nuclear drama. I'm actually kind of nervous writing the script and turning it into a video, because I have a feeling we are about to open up an entire can of worms.
Oh my god.
And this is going to lead us down a rabbit hole, and I'm going to end up blacklisted.
Uh-oh.
So before I drop off the algorithm and I'm absolutely blacklisted from every company, I'd really appreciate it if you guys...
He shouldn't worry, at least he's not talking about Boeing.
Dropped me a like and followed me on my Twitch, as I'll be doing a 24-hour stream on May 22nd for the Wuthering Waves
this is
release.
fine.
Today at around midnight, I received a Twitter notification from an account called Leaker Lamau 29000, who shared this image on my Twitter thread discussing the recent Robin drama.
By the way, I heard from somebody that I trust that they got the same information from a second person and that this was real. Take with that what you want, but I did actually hear this.
It looks to be a snippet of a contract from a company called MiHoYo. Doing some research into this company, it seems like they are a third-party advertising agency working with over 400 plus companies. They offer collaboration marketing, offline advertising, and influencer marketing. While I can't say for sure if this is legitimate or not, let's give them the benefit of the doubt and assume...
I will say that a very strong bit of argumentation against this is the fact that where's MiHoYo here? Like, this is a list of some of their biggest partners, and MiHoYo isn't even going to be on this, like, top panel? CMGE? Oh, are they under CMGE? They are? Okay.
Legitimate or not?
I didn't know that.
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that this is a legitimate snippet of the contract that was offered to them.
Sure.
The contract states, the creator shall promptly notify MiHoYo if any other gaming brand intends to sponsor their content. MiHoYo has full discretion to reject sponsorships that could be detrimental to Zenless Zone Zero or the content creator's reputation.
That is nuts.
The extract cooperation content will be as follows.
Oh my god.
The content creator commits to engaging in minor promotional activities such as retweeting Zenless Zone Zero's posts, sharing in-game screenshots, and so on, for each Zenless Zone Zero update and important festival. Occasionally, the content creator may be requested to participate in major influencer campaigns by creating theme-specific videos, collaborating on creative projects, attending online events, etc. Now, here's a very interesting part. HoYoverse may use the content creator's videos for marketing purposes.
This actually isn't that weird at all. People ask me for this all the time. I look through contracts like this pretty regularly, and being able to use the content that you sponsor is actually a pretty regular commonality. And for example, like I don't really want to get into like a lot of specifics, but there are some people who don't like having their likeness used beyond what the content is, and some people that are more okay with it. Sponsors ask me that all the time. Yeah, this is actually quite common. For free though? Well, we don't know whether it's for free. This is a small part of the contract. I mean, I don't know what all, like, we don't know what the context of this is.
I believe this is the first smoking gun in this discussion.
It's not.
As HoYoverse is directly named in this contract. Being named in the contract means they are somehow directly involved in either writing or approving this contract. The following documents shall be deemed to form and be read and
Scroll down a
construed
little
as
bit.
part of this agreement. For the purposes of interpretation, the priority of the documents shall be in accordance with the following sequence. The Zenless Zone Zero Content Creator Cooperation Agreement and its amendments, if any, the appendix, and any other documents forming part of the agreement. Now, those of you with keen eyes can tell already that there are some minor spelling mistakes and grammatical errors within this document, but I have a feeling this may...
It's a Chinese company. I mean, like, or Singaporean company. Like, I think it's a Singapore, China. I forgot which one. Like, it's not, you know, like obviously they probably should have not had that happen, and they should have had somebody who knew English to be able to write this, and it's still bad. But I don't think that necessarily hurts the validity of it. However, I find that, so if I look at this one right here, what do I find to be problematic about this? Actually, only the top one. I don't think anything else here is problematic whatsoever. So the reason why the top one is bad is because it goes outside of the scope of the sponsorship, and it's taking the autonomy away from the individual beyond what they're being paid for in order to do. But for example, like content creator commits to engaging, this is probably in the context of what this contract is for specifically. And this is also maybe requested to participate in major influencer campaigns. This is also probably in the context of a time frame that the content creator is being paid for. C, this is just simply usage of media rights so they can reuse the content creator's image and likeness in order to promote the stuff. And this down here is just basically ordering. Yeah, the top is the only thing that's bad. Everything else is fine. You keep saying probably? Well, yeah, of course I say probably. I'm saying probably because, like, that's true, probably. Like, I'm saying probably like 99% because I've read and signed a lot of these things. I know this. I feel like I have a pretty good perspective on this. However, it's not a guarantee. So yes, probably.
Now, those of you with keen eyes can tell already that there are some minor spelling mistakes and grammatical errors within this document, but I have a feeling this may be just a result of either poor translation or someone who received the leak of this translated that themselves, and there may be some oddities there. It's hard to say for certain. Sections A, B, and C in the latter portion of this document seem to be pretty boilerplate.
Yeah.
The content creator agrees to promote the game, participate in marketing campaigns, creating videos, etc.
Yeah.
All standard things you would expect from a contract. Alright, so now we're going to start talking about the juicy bits of the contract. Section E.
Yeah.
Alright, so let it be known, and I just want to make this very, very, very clear. I am in no way a lawyer, I have never been a lawyer, and I have never studied law. But as someone who has worked with contracts from my real-life work experience and worked with content creation before with contracts, I will attempt to offer my interpretation. Section E of the contract is outright requiring the creator who received this contract to promptly notify Yomiholik if any other gaming brand intends to sponsor their content. This statement has two major implications behind it. Alright, so firstly, any gaming, which can be extremely loosely interpreted. Most companies have some sort of tie to the gaming industry nowadays. Is Razer a gaming company? What about Logitech? Hell, even what about GamerSupps? A good lawyer could argue in court that these are gaming companies. They offer a sponsorship to the creator, and they need to be reported. So does this mean that any creator needs to report if they intend to or have already signed a contract? Or are they requiring any offer or sponsorship to be reported? To me, it sounds like the latter, which I think is absolutely insane. How in the world can a company worth their marbles suggest that a simple offer of a sponsorship need to be reported to them? Even if we went with the former interpretation...
I think that is not really the main problem that I would have with it. I think the main problem that I would have with it is that whenever you make contractors sign into effectively like what is exclusivity, like, oh, I will only promote your games, I think this is harmful for everyone. And I know that, like, so for I think that probably for like at least some people in the community that are watching this, they're thinking, oh, why should I care about this? I'm not a content creator. I'm not taking these contracts. What's the point? How is this relevant to me? Well, I'll explain how. The reason why it's relevant to everybody is because what happens is that if contracts like this and behaviors like this become normalized into space, you're going to be receiving an increasingly less authentic view of games by different creators. And it's overreaching. Yes, it's a massive overreach, because the reason why it's a big overreach is because it's beyond the scope of what the business is being done for, right? This person is taking a contract to do something, and this goes beyond what this person is doing, and it's the entirety of their business rather than just simply their relationship with the company, right? It all becomes fake. And so you really do need to worry about and be afraid of this kind of stuff becoming more popular, because as it becomes more popular, I'll tell you, like at the bottom of this contract, there's probably a 5 or a 6 digit amount of money that the person is going to be getting paid for doing this. And it might be easy to say, oh, well, I would turn this down because it's bad. But if you're getting paid $60,000 for this, and, you know, the amount of money you make every year is $50,000, you're probably going to take the offer. A lot of people would. And in the process of that, you're going to mislead and lie to people effectively, or at least give them an unbalanced perspective on what content is available, and even not show your viewers something that they could actually want to see in a lot of cases. So yeah, this is very, very unsettling, and it's a very bad thing.
Next line clearly states that MiHoYo outright has full discretion to reject sponsorships that could be detrimental to Zenless Zone Zero. The key word to this insane statement is detrimental. The verbiage used here is vague on purpose, as it opens up the definition of what could be considered breach of contract, in which MiHoYo could go after the content creator for breach of contract, generally resulting in monetary damages. I've heard
very unlikely that anything like that would happen. And also, it's not certain that MiHoYo set up this contract exactly. So if MiHoYo is a agency, effectively, or a middleman, they probably set up the contracts. It's not like MiHoYo writes the contract and then they give it to MiHoYo and then they give the contract to those people. They're the ones, these guys are the ones that make the contract, right? So this could actually just be something that is existing in all of their default contracts, because like maybe they work with like a lot of the different it's like whenever he was listing their different partners, we're at 558. All of these partners are Asian companies, right? NetEase, Yahoo Japan, CMGE. Like this one, I'm pretty sure is an American. And so this could just be normal language in their culture, and it's just unfamiliar with us because we don't have that here. So I think that there also could just be a case where this is simply something that happens categorically with all MiHoYo contracts, and it doesn't have anything to do with MiHoYo. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying that it's possible.
I've heard through the grapevine that large companies such as MiHoYo have clauses in their contract that content creators who breach contracts can receive fines of upwards of $500,000. This is just conjecture, and I obviously have no proof to back it up.
Yeah.
Take it with a grain of salt, but honestly, I would not be surprised in the slightest.
For damages and stuff like that, I've never seen something like that, but it depends on what it is. It's leakers? Yeah, exactly. And like, I think actually in some cases that does make sense. So, for example, like let's say people give you, like you have to sign an NDA, and then you break the NDA and you show people all the new stuff from a game before it was announced. I think they should absolutely be able to sue you. 100%. It's not even a question.
Detrimental could be argued that the creator simply working with another game company, or even a company that is loosely related to gaming, could be applied. One could even argue that providing sponsored content from a game even outside of Zenless Zone Zero's genre could take the spotlight off of just Zenless Zone Zero.
Sure.
This would be considered a breach of contract. Alright, so let's think about this critically for a second. Zenless Zone Zero has a rumored release date of July 3rd. What if a creator has a sponsor or wants to take a sponsor from Square Enix for the
Yep.
release of Final Fantasy XIV's expansion Dawn Trail,
Oh.
which comes out on July 2nd? This creator doing the sponsor could take the spotlight over ZZZ and could be potentially stealing someone away from their game, which would 100% fall as detrimental. Detrimental could even be argued if the creator accepts a sponsorship from Logitech, who regularly sponsors esports events for games like Dota, Valorant, and Counter-Strike. Would this contract prevent the creator from working with a peripheral company?
It would probably scare them into not doing it. Could they enforce this legally and actually get a judgment against it? Probably not with Logitech's, in the case of Logitech, but it would probably scare people into not wanting to try it.
Because their logo is on other games? I could see this being considered a breach of contract. What about GamerSupps? They're partnered with someone that MiHoYo outright hates and has blacklisted.
Tectone.
Voldemort Tectone. Would a creator lose out on the sponsor because they are directly affiliated with someone that regularly critiques their company?
Oh, God.
I mean,
Oh,
hell,
God.
even me posting this video is going to kill potential collaborations with creators that take contracts like this. There's obviously hundreds, if not even thousands of other implications surrounding this line in the contract.
That's true.
Alright, so let's play devil's advocate for a second and
Okay.
say those hypothetical situations wouldn't happen.
Sure.
Depending on the length of the contract, you could be stuck and miss career-changing opportunities from other companies if Yomiholic decided to deny them.
It's probably like a 90-day. Like, this is probably like a 90 or 180-day. I would say probably 90-day contract. Usually something like this is about that.
The amount of power they would have over this creator is astronomical.
Yeah.
And could flat out be a career-ending move for anyone roped into this. While I tend to give the benefit of a doubt for things, we're talking about an ad agency.
Yeah.
And their parent company MiHoYo, who is absolutely ruthless. They will protect their brand no matter what.
Of course.
I mean, hell, if the show Mad Men taught us
To
anything...
be fair, I actually think that MiHoYo is probably one of the most hands-off companies in terms of trying to like regulate what people do. They even allow people to sell fan art, and they explicitly state it. Whereas Nintendo, if you do that, I mean, well, you know. And so I think in a lot of cases, they're pretty reasonable, but it does seem like the relationships that they have with some content creators are pretty sus.
about ad agencies is that ad agencies are the absolute devil and are not to be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
While I understand wanting to protect brand integrity and avoid conflicts of interest with creators, there's a balance between protecting your brand and just fostering collaboration with the creators that you're working with. Alright, so I know I've name-dropped MiHoYo a few times during this conversation, despite the ad agency being a different entity. But for the slow ones, companies approaching ad agencies generally will set the terms and conditions of the contracts that are offered, and has the final say on how the contracts are read. The ad agency is simply the one in charge of the paperwork, record keeping, and communication with the content creator. MiHoYo would have had to either directly sign off on the contract, or flat out told them this clause needs to be in it.
He's right about that they would have had to be okay with the contract. That's actually very true. Actually, maybe not. Yeah, actually, no, not necessarily. Probably, but not necessarily. Because, for example, so this is how it works, right? Is you have content creator, ad agency. Actually, let me just do it this way. This is the money. This is the company. And this is the ad agency. And this is the content creator, right? And so the ad agency gives the money to, the content creator gives, the company gives the money to the ad agency. And so they agree on terms. And then after that, the ad agency creates a contract with the content creators, and then they agree on terms. But in a lot of cases, these two things are not aware of each other. So the content creators don't know what the contract is that the ad agency has with the company, and the company might not always know exactly what the contract is that the ad agency has with the content creators. So this might not be true, but there's also a very good chance that it is. It's just not a 100%. Like, I think also, like, again, I'm like adding nuance into this, but like, we're not really sure.
Right, so how is MiHoYo scared? From someone who has worked in the business, this contract stipulation is not normal. Companies will generally not restrict the creators from
he's right. This is very, I've never seen this in a contract before.
Covering other games or companies.
At least I don't remember.
The only usual stipulation is that you need to show the game in a positive light. And by the game, I mean the game that you are doing the sponsorship for, not other sponsors.
And generally also what happens is that, like, for example, if I got a contract like this, it would go through my agency or my agent or something. And if that happened, they would just simply say, take this part out. And then they'd probably just take it out, and that would be it. Like, there's obviously negotiations that happened there. Now, it should have never been there from the start. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying that there's a lot of negotiations that happen. Yeah, red lines. Yeah, you just write it out.
And why specifically for ZZZ? Yeah. The overall reception of ZZZ has been absolutely abysmal since the last beta.
I don't know if it is, because didn't people say that Genshin Impact was trying to sign people into contracts that were exactly similar to this? I remember listening to a Tectone video about this over a year ago. Yeah, like, this already happened.
A test. And the hype surrounding the game seems to have vanished. MiHoYo's direct competitor, Kuro Games, is releasing Wuthering Waves this month on May 22nd.
Yep.
I truly believe that this is MiHoYo's attempt on nabbing up as many content creators in the space and refusing them the ability to talk about their competitor's game because they legitimately fear that Wuthering Waves is going to be a massive success and has the long-term potential to overshadow their games. Alright, so let me put my tinfoil hat.
I don't agree with that, by the way. I don't think that Zenless Zone Zero is going to be really better than Wuthering Waves. I feel like they're both about the same quality, but that quality is about an 8. Whereas I think the quality of Genshin Impact and Star Rail is like a 9 or a 10. I feel like both of the games are not really that great. And I'll talk about why afterwards.
On real quick. I legitimately believe MiHoYo sees Kuro Games and Wuthering Waves as a massive blow to their grip on the gacha game community. If Kuro was able to knock it out of the park with the release of their game, and keeps in communication with the community and listens to our feedback, this could outright steal a significant portion of Genshin and Star Rail's community for who the hell knows how long. This could be MiHoYo's last-ditch effort to stem the bleeding before it turns...
Here's another reason why I'm concerned about that happening. And this is going to be a bit of a reality check, but somebody's got to do it. Wuthering Waves is a much harder game than Genshin Impact or Star Rail. That means that less people are going to be able to play it and be good at it, which means that it's going to have a smaller audience. Punishing Grey Raven was loved by a very small group of people who thought the game was amazing. But I think that Wuthering Waves might be too hard in order to get into the mainstream and compete with Genshin Impact. I'm serious. I really think so. I've seen these, like... I'll watch like streams of like people playing Genshin or like Star Rail. Jesus Christ, it's so fucking bad. Holy shit, bro. Like, oh my god. Holy fuck. What are y'all doing? What is this? Mint Pickers. Yeah, it's Mint Pickers. Says you. Well, I don't know. To be fair, I don't know how to play Honkai Star Rail. Okay? I spent $1,500 on Acheron to where I don't have to know how to play the game. But the difference is that, listen, hey, in Tower of Fantasy, I was on the fucking leaderboard for the little bygone phantasm shit.
Into a full-blown wound. At the end of the day, the simple fact that a company would be allowed to tell you who you can and can't work with and deny any potential sponsorships offered you almost sounds borderline illegal. Obviously, we're dealing with a company that's overseas, but this comes on the heels of the FTC announcing a rule on banning non-compete clauses back in April.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm unsure if something like this applies to contracts, especially for a marketing company that's out of the country, but I figured I'd bring it up. This is absolutely despicable behavior and makes me lose any positive
Well,
will.
keep in mind that you can make people sign a contract to something and still scare them because they don't know that they can't be enforced. Like, a lot of things in contracts are there, but they can't be enforced.
I've had towards MiHoYo.
But people don't know that.
So what do you guys think? Do you think this is a hoax? Do you think it's all fake? Do you think I'm full of shit? Let me know down in the comments below. And please consider liking and subscribing before MiHoYo sends assassins to take me out. And I'll see you guys.
He's not talking about Boeing. He'll be fine.
In the next one.
Okay.
Well, maybe.
So let's go ahead and break this down. Number one, I think that his assessment of the contract is pretty good. I'll link you guys the video. I think his assessment is pretty good, but I think his conclusion of it being because MiHoYo is afraid of Wuthering Waves is not good.
Rule on banning
I don't think that's the reason why, and I don't think that's what's happening. So if I talk about Zenless Zone Zero, I actually think that there is very little hype for the game as well. Why is there very little hype for the game? The reason why is because people that want a game like that are probably already playing Honkai Impact 3rd or Genshin Impact. And in my opinion, I don't think Zenless Zone Zero does anything special. It's just another one of the same games. And also, by the way, if I look, and I'll play it whenever it comes out. So let's look at some of this gameplay here. And we're just going to look at this for a few seconds, right? So you can see kind of, this is the way the game looks. And obviously this is in beta, so it's going to be improved a bit. But you can see this is, and it looks nice. It does look nice. It's not like it's bad, but you look at the visuals and the colors and everything like that. And then if you compare this to, I'm not sure if this is going to be a good example or not. I haven't seen it. But if you look at the graphics and the colors for this, I'm going to be honest, guys. I think this looks a lot better. I do. And like this zoom in definitely makes it look worse because of the spell effects. But I feel like the colors are more vibrant. They're more appealing. And I think Genshin just looks better. And I know that this is probably like a personal opinion, but the truth is that if enough people have a personal opinion like this, well, then it becomes kind of a fact. So if I look at Genshin Impact, what does Zenless Zone Zero really do better than Genshin Impact? Because personally, I like the idea of an open world game more than a level-based game in Zenless Zone Zero. Nothing, really? Yeah, not a whole lot. And better combat? But the reality is that neither one of these games are really going to have that good of combat because the games are made for like middle school girls that have mental problems. So they're not going to make hard boss fights or anything. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why the games are successful. And also, that's one of the reasons why I think Punishing Grey Raven wasn't that successful. And I think it's one of the things that might hold, what do you call it? It might hold Wuthering Waves back, too. It's because, and I'm not saying Punishing Grey Raven did well, right? But it was not like a breakout success. And after you saw the combat of the game, you would assume to yourself, oh my God, I bet everybody was playing this. No, not really. So the reason why is because gacha players are, guys, I'm going to say it, bad at video games. So what happens is that, of course, these people, they don't want to pay a bunch of money. You don't want to pay I don't know, like $150 to get the new character, and then you can't even beat the boss because you can't figure out how to do your parry timing. You can't perfect dodge because you suck. So the problem is that's the issue there, right then. Did you ever see Punishing Grey Raven gameplay? I did. I have to disagree. Yeah, I'm not completely sure on this, but I think it's a factor. Anyway, what I'm really trying to get at here is that I don't think that Zenless Zone Zero does anything that's unique or special. I really don't think so. But you want to know what else doesn't do anything unique or special? Wuthering Waves. I don't think either one of these games are unique or special in any sort of a crazy, amazing way. They're just like the same game that we've had, but hopefully better. I'm not sure whenever the next, like, I feel like one game that's that's trying to do something unique and special in the space is Azure Premier or whatever the fuck it is. But the reality is that even that game is basically just Genshin Impact plus Pow World, which again is something that's a little bit new, but it's not completely new. And, Tower Fantasy, I don't know. I don't think anyone really plays that one anymore. Genshin just copied Breath of the Wild. Well, they copied Breath of the Wild in some ways, like the aesthetic and everything, but they didn't really copy a lot of the like combat design, as far as I know, and like the element design and everything like that. What about Honkai Star Rail then? I feel like before Honkai Star Rail, there was not a very good turn-based gacha game that was visually appealing. Like, I watched a lot of the other turn-based games, and I thought that they looked like literal fucking garbage. Dog shit. I would have never played them. I had such a bad opinion of it that the only reason why I took my first sponsorship for playing Honkai Star Rail is because I thought it was Honkai Impact 3rd, and I had heard that game was like Tower of Fantasy, and I had played Tower of Fantasy. If I had known that it was a turn-based game, I probably would have saved like $10,000, right? Like, let's fucking be honest. So, yeah, that's the reason why. And so, yeah, I feel like all of those games are garbage. And Honkai Star Rail is very popular because it brings out content a lot, and it has visually appealing design, and also the gameplay and the combat looks great. It looks so much better. Like, I'll watch like Lucari and some of these other guys play these other gacha games that are turn-based. Holy fuck, what a bunch of fucking garbage. Who the fuck? Are you telling me people spend money on this shit? Oh my God, spend money not to even have to play it. I can't even believe it. Like, what are you doing with your life? It's like, just pay somebody to kick you in the balls. It'll be easier. I can't even believe this. What are you doing? How much money has this been? Honkai Star Rail has good mechanics. It drives me crazy. And so, yes, I don't think that, I do think that MiHoYo is probably afraid of Wuthering Waves. Absolutely. Because Wuthering Waves will 100% bring in a huge deluge of players that are disaffected Genshin Impact enjoyers. But look at what this gameplay is. I don't know if anybody's really been paying attention, right? But like, this gameplay is basically going from floor to floor or room to room into these pre-created levels, and then just doing combat. It's boring. It's fucking boring. And I will play this game on release, and I think that I will probably enjoy the game. But I enjoy World of Warcraft, and that's probably boring too for a lot of people. So yeah, it's dated mobile design. Yeah, I feel like this game, if this was the game they made instead of Genshin Impact in 2020, I don't think that we would know their name. Like, if that makes sense. Like, Genshin Impact was so groundbreaking because it was such a great game. And it is such a great game. Like, it plays, and whenever I say it's such a great game, I'm not talking about the monetization. I'm talking about the fact that it plays extremely well. A game that plays well is more important than anything else. And it looks good. You can play it on mobile. You've got these cool characters. Everything fits together so well. It's got a story. It's got all these new and interesting designs. And I also want to say, Zenless Zone Zero character design is so much better than Wuthering Waves. I'm not sure. I feel like the only company that can make designs as good as HoYoverse or like MiHoYo are the people that make Fate Grand Order. Like, they can do it, and then maybe Azure Lane. Maybe, but like, not even them. I feel like MiHoYo just completely fucking clears them, and it's not even remotely close. Like, if you go and you look at Robin's banner and you look at her character, can I zoom in on this? I can't for whatever fucking reason. Well, anyway, the character design for these characters is just so immaculate. It's so well done. It's genuinely impressive how good their character design is. And I think that's something that very, very few companies are able to replicate. And the reason why that matters is because if you look at the subreddits for gacha games, it's just a bunch of fucking simps posting fan art of the girls that they wish that they were in a relationship with. Look at this. I guess this is the Stellaron Hunters, Kafka, Blade, and Silverwolf, and I don't know who the fuck that is. Look at this. Yeah, they're down bad. It's all down bad. Sam? Oh, right, of course. And I thought, yeah, I forgot all about that. I forgot about that little nuance. It didn't really make sense to me. Look at Sparkle. Well, let me see if I can show you guys. Very, very worried opening this up on stream, but I'm just going to do it. And let's see. Can I get a good image of the character? How about this one right here? This character is so well designed. It is such an incredibly well designed character. It is fucking insane. It's so good. Look at that. It's very pretty. Yes, this is so appealing. It's so good. Even Fujuan has great design. It does. And, like, I don't really, like, I mean, yeah, she's nice and cute, but she's not really my type in that way, right? But I can still respect this is a really, really well-designed character. It is amazing. It's a cartoon? Yeah, sure. But anyway, it's never stopped me before. So the point is that I don't think that Zenless Zone Zero is that good. Personally, I think it's like a little bit below. But I think that Wuthering Waves is farther below. Way farther below. I was actually talking to CatDany about this today. Big surprise. I will say that Wuthering Waves has better male character design than any Hoyoverse game. Like Carchalo, I think that's his name, and Jinyan or whatever from Wuthering Waves, completely fucking clear Blade. I'm sorry. I have Blade. I think he's great, but no, bro, completely fucking clears him. It's not even close. Yeah, Calcharo, I think that's the name. And so anyway, it's not like it doesn't have anything, but let's also keep in mind, having a male character in a gacha game, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. Yeah, it doesn't matter, right? It's completely fucking irrelevant. What matters is the girls. Look at all these pictures. Look, it's girl. Like, let's just go down. Let's go down the list. Guy, girl, guy and girl, girl. And I guess it's because of the new release, right? To be fair, 3 girls, 1 guy, 2 girls, 3 girls, 2 guys. To be fair, a guy. Okay, a girl, and then 1 more. Let's go to 1 more. Oh, there, another girl. It's primarily girls. Okay, and so that's just the way it is. I think the gacha community girls care. Yeah, they care a lot, and they care about looking at other girls. And so that's the way it works. I don't think that MiHoYo is really that scared of Wuthering Waves. I don't think so. I don't. We'll wait and see, but I don't think Wuthering Waves, I don't know if it can compete against Genshin Impact. And if I had to guess, I think that it will, and Wuthering Waves will be better for more hardcore players in the same way that Punishing Grey Raven was. But I don't think that it's going to hit even 20% of the appeal of Genshin Impact. That's my opinion. Thanks for covering my video. Hey, thanks for making it, man. You bring up some good points. Yeah, playing Hades 2 next week? Yeah, I hopefully will. Not really compete to it, but definitely give presents to them. Yeah, I'm sure they'll have an audience, definitely. There are gacha games designed for Coomer girls. Yeah, but a lot of Coomer girls also like Coomer girl characters. I don't know how this happens, but somehow that's the way it is. Yenlin is fine. Yeah, she's the one that has like the straight hair with like the boobs and like the green shirt, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think that she's the hottest one. Fucking by far, by the way. It's not even close. And yeah, of course. But in general, I just don't think it's anywhere close to Honkai Star Rail. Yeah, it's not. So yeah, that's what my perspective is on it. I know obviously a lot of people have opinions on this kind of stuff, but that's kind of the way that I feel, at least.